Cinderin,
Perfect. Yeah.
what would you like to say?
What I'd like to say? I think, the funny thing about this for me is, once again, we follow through with the trend that's been happening so far in this tournament. That is that we don't get 100% standard drafts in game one. Like, Wraith King is not a hero that gets picked very much these days. It's picked from one side. On the other side, I guess, pretty much standard, though. So there's maybe one surprise pick here in game one, but it's still, I think, more games than not, there has been something unusual even in the first game, so that's pretty cool.
Okay. And just to confirm, the game's not started, have it? Has it?
I'm in it.
Oh. It's in-game. Right, I'm sure this is something we can fix. I'm still stuck on a lobby screen. Right. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Can
we just remake? Do you remake?
It's all right. We got this, Cinderin. It's gonna be me and you. We've done this before, I think, right?
Is this happening? Like,
I think it has to happen. I don't think we have a choice.
Mine's fucked up here. Thanks, Reborn.
All right, welcome to the grand finals cast with Cinderin and Draskell. Welcome
That's
to
okay.
Reborn
We got
beta
some funny
test.
shit going on here. Owie, it's Light Striker Ray. Here comes a follow-up Hellfire Blast. Ice Shards though, blocking off a couple of members here. 4C&L, the charge comes in from EGM. That's going to be your first blood right there. Onto Owie 2000. Hear you. Along with Bulba, going to eat another Light Striker Ray, but looks like 4C&L are going to walk away the victors here. Just fighting over a little bit of ward vision, I guess.
Yeah, the Radiant heroes are extremely good for level 1. I'm actually surprised that DC tried to take. I don't think they wanted to take that fight. Actually, I just guess they had no choice the moment they got charged on. But you're not going to win that fight against the Radiant with those heroes from the Dire. So of course 4C&L get the first kill. They also get both bounty runes, so they're off to a really good start here. And the only thing DC really accomplished was placing a pretty standard Observer Ward in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, I think the whole thing kicked off too by that Light Strike Array from Fog. So I think that one was pretty hard for them to avoid in general. So really good stuff coming out from 4C&L. And they're the kind of team where I feel you give them a little bit of momentum, especially with a lineup like this, and they can do a ton. Now we got to see how the lanes are going to shape up, and it seems like dual offlane Tusk Darks here. Against this particular lineup, though, on bottom, I don't know how much this is going to accomplish. I think they can actually die quite easily here.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of game where you get maybe, I don't even know if you want to get level 3 on the Darks here before you go jungle, or if you just go right away and start stacking some camps and farming it, because the moment you realize you're playing against this tri lane, there's no way you're getting away. Surge is great and all, but when you play into 3 stuns, you need some really, really nifty plays with the snowball in order to even survive that combo. So I think DC are in a really bad position there.
Bottom tower.
And we got the mid matchup here. It's TC versus Queen of Pain. It's going to be played as Bloodseeker versus Queen. And this particular matchup is interesting to me because, well, first off, you don't see it much. And this is, I guess the Queen can win, and he's even gone as far as to skill Scream at level 2, which I guess is just for harassment purposes. But this lane's actually super hard for Queen, I feel.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially when the Bloodseeker gets to start with these items, right? You go Poor Man's Shield, 2 shared tangos, and then you get a salve very early on, because it's so unrewarding playing a lane dominator against Bloodseeker. If you don't play it like perfectly, all of your harassment just goes to waste. You just see TC, the moment he gets the last hit, he heals 140. It's like an entire Shadow Strike he negates by getting 1 CS. And he, of course, does have better damage than Pycat 2 when he's Blood Raged. Now he even gets a Quelling Blade, so he has a very big advantage. Here comes the charge, though, from EGM. Gets the stun off. Will get a Greater Bash. That should be a kill if he does. Maybe they don't even need it. He actually does get it there. And I do think they needed it, after all, especially with Tusk rotating in.
I guess as soon as you put that Blood Rage on, it makes it a lot easier to harass, because at that point, Pycat only had mana for 1 Shadow Strike. So if that Shadow Strike wasn't enough to kill, then I guess at the very least they were going to apply some pressure. But that's here's Pycat's bottle. He'll be able to probably get the haste rune top, as neither team actually has vision of it right now, but I think he'll probably check. Might have noticed that none of the supports have rotated. And that haste rune could very easily be another kill.
It could.
A top lane. Yeah, Bambo, he's going to eat that power shot here. Very low on health. Going to see EGM teleport in. He's going to charge onto UR, but I don't really think much is going to happen from this, although his wind run is down.
Bash.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, he's chasing him down right now. He can't get a bash to save his life. He's going to get ensnared here by Aoi, and looks like he'll be forced back.
That's really unfortunate. One bash there for EGM is actually a kill, I think. I think Yawara, after all those attacks, was down to like 100 health, and Greater Bash deals a lot of extra damage, so... Well, maybe not. It's a level 1 Greater Bash. He has 2 in charge. So.
I think it would have been super close either way.
Yeah.
Like, he might have died, it might have been like 10 HP or something like that.
This is such a good lane for Spirit Breaker, though. Like, if you look at the heroes he's up against, they're a lot about physical damage, and he just has really good base tankiness. 5 armor, the Stout Shield, already has the 2 gauntlets from the first kill and the assist he's got. He can always just rotate whenever he wants, so now he's going to charge mid again. And TC is being pressured really hard by Pycat.
Yeah, Biryu's here though. Question is a Snowball going to be enough to really help? They are behind the tower. Here comes the Shadow Strike. Actually dodges it with the Snowball. They want to try to turn it around, but there's not enough mana for Ice Shards. He needs 4 more. TC and Biryu chasing right now. Pycat's got Blink in 5. Doesn't look like they'll continue to chase this out. And once again, looks like 4CL are going to get both runes here too.
An extra 5 mana on Biryu there is the first kill for DC in this game, that's for sure. If they block off Pycat, they know the Blink is level 1, obviously, so it's a very long cooldown. But he gets out barely there. Although, of course, the gank does fail, and TC, you're starting to see what you pointed out, that this lane is really favoring the Bloodseeker. He's up 23 and 11 to the 13-2 of Pycat, and this is a classic mid lane dominator in Queen of Pain that just can't go toe-to-toe with this hero.
I guess the one thing about it is, in most circumstances, the Queen should dominate, that's true, but at least you're getting the EXP. And I feel like TC, if you get caught with a Blood Rage on, very similar to what we saw EGM do earlier, you can get blown up by a Queen at level 6. Like, that damage you're going to take is insane. And if you're getting harassed constantly, you're probably going to have to use Blood Rage at some point to bring yourself back up.
Yeah, what do you think about his choice of going 2 in Blood Rage? I would say usually you go 1-1-3, and the extra 5% damage in the extra 1 second duration, this ensures that he can constantly cast it, because now the duration and cooldown's the same. But at the same time, that extra 5% is also ingoing damage and could put him in a lot of trouble.
Oh. Pycat, he's got his ult up here. He has enough mana for the Scream and the ulti. Biryu's in the area. Looks like they're going to choose not to go in, fearing the Snowball and Ice Shards, but I do think that's kind of the way you want to do it. Is a level 1 Blood Rite really going to change a whole lot in this situation? I feel maybe you can catch out an aggressive Blink or throw it on EGM, but since he's not 6, you're not stopping like a Nether Strike, for example. And I think just keeping yourself at full health is super important because you know that you're going to be that charge target.
It puts a different type of pressure, right? Let's say you're getting charged by Bloodseeker or by Spirit Breaker, and you just cast Blood Rite on yourself. Then Pycat needs to really think about his positioning on the engage. He can't blink in aggressively and get Scream and Sonic Wave off because he's going to get silenced, and then he can turn around on. So I think it's a really good defensive value point, and I don't know what this Blood Rage point has done for him so far. Good Ice Shards by Biryu. They might actually be able to get this kill. They're not trying, though. Surprised they didn't go for the Snowball play. But
TC was 4 experience away from level 6. I think if he was 6, they definitely go for that. Well, either way, looks like Aoi taking some damage here top from Bambo, and we should kind of bring this up, I feel, because he's level 5, and he has Arcanes. Might die, though. Biryu with the Haste Rune, Ice Shard's coming in, there's the power shot. Bambo definitely not going to live through that one, so poor guy, as soon as I bring him up, he gets killed. But I still feel like he's getting a lot out of this early game.
Yeah, for sure. Level 5 on the Shaker in this offlane at minute 6 is really good, and having Arcanes, of course, great for him. Also, lots of choice of maxing Fissure. I feel like a lot of the time when we see a core Shakers, whether it's in the offlane or in a solo mid position, they often choose to either max Aftershock or enchant Totem, and I just think Fissure... People forget how well this levels. Like, the extra damage and, of course, the extra stun duration is really good, and in most situations, until you get a Blink Dagger, your chance of getting like 2 or 3 enchant totem hits off or getting a good aftershock proc is very low. The Fissure's just way more flexible in my opinion.
No, I agree a lot. Sometimes I like the 2-1-2 build that a lot of people do because that way you can chain stun. Gonna see a charge here onto middle lane. Snowball comes in for Biryu.
They're gonna regret that.
Bambo is coming in. Here comes the Sonic Wave. The burst with the Fidget comes out. Biryu's already down. TC will be soon to follow, and that is a double kill for Pycat. Now, I don't think Biryu saw the Shaker. He definitely did not. That's the only way I can justify that Snowball is if he didn't see Bambo there.
The thing is, he indirectly saw the Shaker by the fact that he hasn't shown top for 30 seconds. So it's actually a misread of the map. Like, if Shaker has not shown in that aggressive ward they have up there, they know he's rotated. Where is it most likely he is? It's gotta be mid, right? He won't go bottom to try to kill the Darkseer together with Wraith King. He could, I guess, but it's not nearly as valuable as finding this kill mid. And 4C&L just with a superior rotation here from the start.
Yeah, it's just really bizarre to me that happened because they do have the high ground ward, right? So it just seems really uncommon that you would not see that hero because it was well on the river by the time they started that engage. But either way, Bambo still making things happen here. He's been involved in half his team's kills right now. He's getting close to level 6, which means he'll have that Echo available. It might be around the same time that this charge hits on top lane. He's going to get charged here, has level 2 Shackle and Windrun up. TP reaction coming in from Biryu. EGM is going to get the Ice Shards here. Do they want to go on this? There is a double damage. Shackle does not latch. Bambo is not quite 6 just yet. Yawar is going to eat the Scream, get daggered, run back to the tower. He might die to the dot damage. It's bottling up now. Charge coming from EGM. He wants to go for it. In the meantime, Echo right in front of the tower. Bambo with the double. 3 down right now on the side of DC. And now EGM has realized, I might have made a mistake, but he does have charge up soon. So I think he'll be fine.
That was actually such a clutch echo by Bambo there. If he doesn't get that off, the Pycat ultimately does end up dying, but the amount of damage they managed to output between that Echo Slam on 2 heroes, and of course the Enchant Totem attack finally to finish off the Bloodseeker, that would have probably been a lost fight if they didn't have that clutch timing there. And instead they get a very convincing 3-1 win in that engage, so very solid from them. And I feel like it's interesting to see the playstyle of 4 Clovers. It's kind of 4 Protect 1 in a lot of their games. Swift Ending is just really farming away this game on a Wraith King, who's often a very active early game carry, but it's just their style of play and it's working wonders so far.
The nice thing about their lineup is they don't really need him right now, you know? They have Queen, ulti's up once again. I guess the person who's suffering the most here on the side of 4CL, if anyone, is going to be Saksa, because he's only level 4 at the moment. Everyone else is having a phenomenal early game. And just between the 3 of, you know, Pycat, of course, on the Queen, and then the Spirit Breaker, plus the Earthshaker, they've just been making so much happen. And to a certain degree, you kind of got to be concerned for this Bloodseeker, because he absolutely needs BKB. And if 4CL start 5-manning, Blade Mail Bloodseeker build is not that effective in that situation.
No, and there's just a couple of really good natural BKB carriers on the Radiant. So
yeah,
the Blade Mail is only impactful for, say, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you got to make so much of it. I don't think this is a Blade Mail for Bloodseeker. I'm with you on that. He has to go for more of a combat and more farming build, perhaps. So we'll see what TZ chooses to do here. Looks like there's a little bit of a smoke coming up for Clovers, so we've got EGM cracking level 6, Bambo's level 7, so level 4 Fissure. If they get an opening on pretty much anyone who's not protected by a snowball, that hero will die instantly.
Biryu was so close to breaking the smoke there. They'd walk just a little bit closer. They might just end up finding Bulba here in the woods.
Bulba's
Smoke
fucking
breaks.
dead.
Yeah, he's
Dead.
not having a great time. See you later, Sam. Rip in pieces.
Here comes Biryu, though. He actually has the opportunity to block both heroes off in this point with Ice Shards, but there's no backup available. If Yawar was a little bit closer and had rotated over, they could have found 1 kill there at least. Now instead, EGM, making it very clear that he's charging bottom, actually stops it at the mid-tier 1 tower. He's just gonna farm a bit here, but so far so good for 4CL's game plan, at least. They're ahead by almost 4,000 gold, 3k experience.
Look at Bambo's money right now. Like, he's gonna
really
have
good.
Blink Arcanes at like 12, 13 minutes. That is so insane. Like, how are they gonna fight against this?
Arm of the Siren run?
Well, yeah, that's their only option, really. But that's only up once every 3 minutes right now because it's level 1. I think the one thing that DC have going for them right now is the fact that it's not like 4CL's team is amazing at pushing, right? Like, they have to kill first and then push after. They have a decent amount of spam. They have Ice Shards, Riptide, of course, Ion Shell, and Power Shot. So they can kind of delay, try to get their core items going for them, and I guess just try to avoid fights for now, because honestly, with this mass amount of disable and the early game that 4CL have had, I think it's a mistake to try to fight them. Unless maybe you outnumber them.
And it's only going to get harder when this Wraith King gets an active item. Like, he has Armlet right now. I'm thinking he's going to get an ability item next, like a Blink Dagger. For DC to deal with that, Pycat with a good blink, takes no Rupture damage. Doing the trick there, of course. What is it? On Rupture, if you travel more than... How much distance is it? You don't take the damage?
It's actually 1,300, I think, exactly.
It's 1,300 exactly, and Blink can blink 1,300. So you blink, and then you move an inch, and then you've past the threshold. And of course, the damage of Rupture is dealt, I think it's calculated every quarter of a second, correct me if I'm wrong. So
I think it's
blink
around
and
there,
move,
yeah.
that's why you can do it.
You can also do it if you move and then blink, but you have to be super fast because, of course, blink has an animation. So the animation actually delays it enough where sometimes you still take the Rupture damage. So it is typically easier to move after the blink.
This tower mid is taking a lot of damage here. Once again, just the 4CL strategy is just really coming into its own right now. Everyone has what they need. Like, the lowest farmed hero on their side, Saxa, is still... He's still almost level 7 minute 13, which isn't like phenomenal for support, but considering what position he's been in, only 1 assist and just really babysitting bottom. He's looking good too, with all the jungle he found.
Middle tower.
There's really been no pressure at all on the bottom side of the map for 4CL. Like, it's just completely been mid and top lane where majority of the action's been happening. Speaking of, Rupture here onto EGM, Blood Right coming in, teleport reaction. It's going to be Bambo. He does have Echo. There's 3 heroes right next to each other. Here comes the Blink Dagger. TC and Bulba just explode under the damage you are. He's going to eat the Light Strike Array and the Laguna. See you later. Soxa comes in to finish up that kill, and
Dire's middle
they were not expecting Bambo to have a Blink. I can tell you that.
This is just an absolute beatdown. There's really no other way to put it right now. Looks like Birio is also going to fall mid. He's trying for the TP out, but Pycat more than enough damage here. The charge was giving the vision. Birio thought he could juke him there with the fog, but good charge secures that kill, and now it's 4 kills in a row. They're getting the top tier 1. Swift Ending now getting involved in pushing on another lane. He's like, okay, maybe there's more to the world than just a bottom lane. Goes and takes this tower, that's closing in on his Blink Dagger. DC are going to need pretty much a miracle, and I'm saying that 14 minutes in, this game's just getting out of control really fast.
Yeah, it's one thing when a team like this gets a couple of kills early, because you kind of expect it, right? You got Spirit Breaker, you have multiple stuns, high damage. It's expected that a couple of people get picked. But when you start losing your tier 1s like this, and it's only 14 minutes in, the offlane Shaker has Blink, Arcanes, halfway to 4 staff. You got some real problems on your hands, because it's not really a problem anymore defending tower, but...
Are you looking at the net worth? It's generally a good indicator when the offlaner of one team has more gold than the safe laner of the other, that you're stomping.
Fair, he's got almost as much net worth as his mid player in a safe lane, so... I think Bambo is just having another standout game, to be honest. Seems like these are the types of heroes that he plays best. The ones that can turn around and just either do counter initiation or find picks for himself. Like, his map awareness, I feel, is some of the best out of any of the players that I've seen. And if you give him a hero that can make the plays, it will happen.
He's definitely been solid once again in this game. I feel like the entirety of 4 Clovers have just been getting the job done. It's similar to that game yesterday, like you mentioned, where you played Sand King, where it's like you don't want to take anything away from any of the other players because they've also played great. But he's just having that standout game, as you were mentioning. So it's just really... I want to mention EGM too on that account, actually. I think a lot of the success has really been because of the Spirit Breakers just getting information and also just setting up a lot of key kills here. It looks like he will be going for another one, but this one is a bait.
They're going to song straight away. The Blood Right comes out maybe a little bit early. Miscoordination here coming out from DC. The silence is not going to hit. Pycat comes in, flanks into position. He's waiting for the Sonic Wave, throws it up, but the Snowball actually dodges all the damage. This could be the turnaround they need. Bambo's here. The Echo comes off cooldown. It hits on 4 members of Digital Chaos. It is an absolute murder fest here in top lane. Aoi is the last man standing. He's earned up here, gets dashed through the trees, and the fastest GG of the Elimination tournament here at 16. Actually, it was 15 minutes in when they called it, but good lord, that was ugly.
Yeah, that was ugly. Really. I think, you know, if you look at 4C&L's draft and what they have early on in this game, they have this potential to play super aggressively. And you look over at DC, and it seems like in a lot of ways their lineup is more reactionary. What I would have liked to see out of them was bringing the Darkseer to fights earlier and trying to get Ion Shell on Bloodseeker and Tusk, for example. Just run at the enemy and try to kill them off with Ion Shell, because that's the real source of damage in the early game. Really relies on the Darkseer, and he was just in the offlane the whole time, farming,